So let's talk about dispatching. I mean, that is one of my main functions for One City, One Team is the dispatching of the loads. Um, I was a one-man band for our business. It could be done as a team, and if you have a large fleet, it would be recommended. I would say that the maximum number of drivers that you could, um, I would say, successfully dispatch would be 4 to 5. Because I don't just dispatch, I call myself the trucking concierge, right? So I'm not just booking loads, I'm managing that load from beginning to end. I'm dealing with the broker relationships. I'm also managing the driver. So it's way more than it appears when you say dispatcher. You're thinking you're just looking up loads, putting them out, and sending the driver on their way. When that is not the case. Especially if they're not owner operators, if they're actually just really in it just to, make ends meet. You kind of have to take a little bit more responsibility for the loads. So dispatching, what that entails is wherever your truck is located, you're going to look on the load board for a load. Um, I primarily use the DAT board, the DAT board. There are lots of other load boards out there. I find that this one is the best suited for the box truck industry. I've paid for more expensive load boards and haven't gotten business out of them. So don't think that just because you pay more, you're going to get more. That's not the case. I spent a year and a half spending like 500 a month on a load board that didn't really generate any income for me. And then a lot of the other load boards, it's hard to find box truck loads, light loads, LTLs. Most of them are van loads or reefer loads or, flatbed loads. So the DAT, when I said I made, 20 to 25,000 a month, I would say primarily through the DAT board. Now, once you locate, you put in your search field where you want to find a load, and I usually search up to 150 miles. You don't want to put too much deadhead on your driver unless you're absolutely, in the middle of nowhere. But 150 miles, and the sweet spot right now, it used to be $1.80 to $2 a mile, but lately I would say if you can get $1.50 a mile, you're rocking and rolling. So that would be my goal, is to find a load that I can make at least $1.50 a mile. And that may include stacking loads as well. So, the details, you'll have to not only look within the 150 miles, but you have to route it, map it, see how much time it's going to take, how many miles it's going to take to even determine if it's worth your while, right? So if it's not meeting it, making ends meet, if it's not even meeting the cost of fuel, then it's not even a load that's worth your time. But if you have room on your truck, I know my husband hates to have any room on his truck. So you put your load on your truck, and the driver will let me know how much space and how much weight is still available. And so I will be along the route. You don't want to go too far out of the route, because then it drops, it kind of digs into your profitability. You kind of just want to stay on the route so that you use the same fuel for one load that you do for the other load, and therefore you increase your profit. So that's what I would do. I call it connecting the dots. Making sure that even when he drops a load, that there's something nearby that he can turn around and pick up, or she, because we do have lady drivers as well. Um, and then your broker, once your driver arrives to the pickup, you want to communicate with your broker every step of the way. So I send an email out, driver's on site, driver is loaded. And then when they're loaded, you're going to send them a copy of the bill of lading, right? That's the little document that the driver gets. They sign it, the shipper signs it. They send it to me, I send it to the broker. Um, Now, along the route, if there are any delays or problems getting that load by the deadline, it's my responsibility to communicate to the broker, hey, there's a delay because of yada, yada, yada. It could be a breakdown, flat tire, could be weather, could be traffic, could be a slew of things. But as the dispatcher, I have the relationship with the broker. I'm going to communicate to the broker there's going to be a delay. And then when you get to the receiving end, same protocol, drop the load, sign the bill of lading, have the shipper sign it, send it up to the broker, and that pretty much closes the load out. And I don't, this isn't for all dispatchers, but for myself, I do also invoice either the broker or the factoring company once that load has been delivered so that we can get paid. So that's another part of the dispatch process. It's not just uploading the invoice, it's following up on payments. And sometimes if you bill directly to the broker, sometimes you have to chase down payments. So it's kind of like, again, the trucking concierge. You're going to make sure that the business is a well-oiled machine.